So I never got to co-stream the LCS today. That was a quick 3-0. And by the time I got home, literally put my food on the countertop, I pull back open the stream. It's like, okay, is Shopify going to be able to push this the distance so I can stream even a single game? No. No. So this is what we're going to go with. Let me at least put this on, and let's get into the headlines. Or my headlines, as I've been told to very clearly distinguish. I know my hair is kind of a mess right now, but that's because I was teaching kids outside with golf all day wearing a hat, and this is hat hair after it's all said and done. Still looks better, though, than Shopify and Sentinels did. Sentinels, I think, was probably the most surprising from the weekend, given their record against FlyQuest so far. I'm saving any conversation about FlyQuest for later in this video. But Sentinels just came out flat, simply put. And it was interesting to note in the interview that Golden Glue did afterwards, apparently there's too much Korean being spoke during these games to the point where it causes miscommunication issues. And Impact agrees that they should probably try calming more in English. To which I'm saying, I can't believe this is still a conversation within the LCS in 2026. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. But look, it's the team of boomers that clearly has hit their ceiling because the young guns are now already better than them. Like, I don't see how this gets better for Sentinels going into summer. If anything, it only becomes more and more of an issue. Reflecting on Sentinels' journey so far through lock-in and through spring, I mean, they're going to an international event where they are going to get absolutely blasted. But hey, you know what? I'm still going to be cheering them on because they're still representing North America. But I just hope the young players on this roster, like, just shine. I hope Dark Wings gets his moment because he looks pretty good so far. But the bot lane just simply got outclassed this entire time, which is surprising given that Rahel hasn't, at least in my experience, played a series this bad ever. But maybe it'll be different on the EWC stage. Who knows? For Shopify, I mean, what do you really say? Honestly, that we haven't already kind of dunked on them before. For this roster is not going to work. It's just not. They squeaked into playoffs barely because DSG without Castle is not really the same animal, even though Surdy by all means has looked good. DSG just has their problems as well. The bottom four within the LCS clearly are just a clear down step below the top four. And the question becomes for Shopify, how serious of an organization are you within the LCS? Yes, I'm willing to leverage that criticism right here, right now. If you are serious about wanting to contend, about wanting to have a program that is anything beyond 4th and 5th place at best each and every split, it's time to get rid of your coaching staff, or at least make some pretty drastic changes, because Revan has already said that he is not going anywhere as long as this roster is here. He sees it as a failure upon himself if this roster is not good. And I've already seen enough to know you have to make a choice with this roster. You can either keep Zinni and hope that he develops by putting different pieces around him and finding a mid lane coach to be brought in as well, or you do have to replace Zinni already because he has looked god-awful. And not god-awful in the Quid way, where Quid showed just enough moments to make people believe that he deserved a chance. Even I was kind of out on the Quid train after that first split. We've now seen enough Zinni for me to say, what the hell is happening right now? Either the players around him are just absolutely crippling him in the game, or he's not that good, or coaching staff is doing a terrible job at bringing out the best in him. Either way, this Shopify roster cannot remain the same going into summer. This Shopify org pillar in general, because that obviously goes beyond the players, cannot go unchanged, or it's just pointless kind of having this org in the league, to be honest. Like, you cannot just wait until the end of the year to give a tier 2 player a chance on this team. I mean, I'm looking at Fudge topside as well. Like, you give somebody a shot up there to try and spice things up a little bit. Give Contracts a team, for Christ's sake. It's not good. And if you don't make a move, it shows me that you just are not serious about understanding what it's going to take to try and make this program work within the space. You're just not. So when Charlie comes out and says that, you know, we wish we had more of this in NA after the Jinxie tournament, and like this would bring excitement and hype, having a better squad would do also some pretty big favors in terms of building up that hype and excitement. That takes care of the losers over in the LCS. Let's go to the losers in the LEC, which saw Vitality, the #1 seed, dropping 2 straight series. And I don't want to hear the arguments on this particular one about, oh, them not playing all that often over the course of the last month and the road trips and beyond really screwed them over. No, they look like ass. Like, they just look like ass in the playoffs. Like, we have seen this so many times from Vitality that I'm sorry. Like, how many splits with different rosters do we need to see to know that something is just up with this organization? And quite frankly, anyone outside of the clear top 4, top 3, really, that exist within this ecosystem. Yeah, definitely top 3 that exist in this region. It is Koi, it is KC, and it is G2. And they are the only 3 that bring any sort of sense of credibility in my mind, or like still faith, I think would be the right word. Like, when we come to playoffs, I have zero faith in Vitality to ever win a series ever again. I don't have faith in somebody like Navi to come in and be able to pull off an upset. Now, granted, KC is one of those top 3, but for Vitality, it's just arguably even worse. Losing to Giant X. I think there are valid points to be made about the scheduling of all this. There should not be a month-long break for a team between when they last played and playoffs. Granted, obviously, the playoff format itself, because of the top 4, bottom 4, like, I know it's one of those things that, like, at most, it probably would have been 3 in any other situation. But either way, it's still a lot. I will take it every time if that means that we get to keep having these road shows, to be very clear. Like, anybody that disagrees with that, sorry. That's my trade-off that I'm willing to accept. But for these teams, like, dude, you got to give us something to believe in. And you just continuously don't. What else do I really say on the matter at that front? I mean, Europe is just, unfortunately, very, very predictable up until the point where you get to the top 3. And then it just becomes a crapshoot. The only one, maybe GX can cause an upset over KC. I'm not convinced that KC is as strong as people kind of make them out to be. I just think the competition that they face in playoffs so far, other than the team they lost in the upper bracket, not convinced that they're entirely on point yet, but a warm-up series against GX could eventually send them into a better place going into finals weekend, so to speak. Over in the LCK, history has been made. By history, I mean the first time in like 2 years. Actually, well, the MSI format changed back in 2023? And I think Gen G was also the first seed in that tournament as well. Let me double check. Let me fact check that real quick. Yeah, first time ever that Gen G will not be the number 1 seed going into MSI, which is absolutely crazy. So the LCK playoff bracket, as you are seeing, well, it's not playoffs, it's the road to MSI. Don't forget, the LCK does only 1 finals at the end of the year. So you will have a qualification match to MSI between T1 and Hanwha Life, and then the loser of that will play whoever makes it through the gauntlet to face them to also qualify. Meaning that Gen G is guaranteed to be 2nd seed at best, assuming they even make the tournament, which is not a guarantee, which is awesome for the LCK. Like, so freaking fun and freaking cool. This entire gauntlet is just going to be fun to watch, even though there will come a point. I think like that first matchup between, I guess, the barrier between like the top 3 and below. I don't expect KT or whoever goes on to face KT to then face Gen G to really stand a chance in that series. But other than that one, it feels like we will have this clear entertainment value of like the bottom half and then the top half all the way through. In terms of my predictions for the LCK playoff bracket, I know a lot of people see me as a T1 homer, and obviously like I'm pulling for T1 in most cases, but I just think it would be good if Hanwha Life goes in as the 1 seed in this particular tournament, but I obviously still want to see T1 go. And I think T1 in their current form, for whatever reason, just has a better chance to beat Gen G. And might I remind you, whoever the LCK sends to MSI as the 2 seed is going to be the only team out of the LCK or LPL that will be going in play-ins. So it will be the 2 seed from North America, from Europe, and the LCP facing off against the 2 seed of Korea, because China automatically gets 2 teams that go into the main bracket stage, and Brazil's team automatically goes through as well. So yeah, it's gonna be a bloodbath between all of them, which obviously will likely result in either Gen G or whoever is the 2nd seed from the LCK getting through. But first stand, was it a pattern? Was it a one-off? If it's a pattern, then whoever we send from Europe could stand a chance, especially if G2 were to say, I don't know, drop down to the 2nd seed and go there and like Koi gets first. We've seen G2 beat Korean teams at international events already this year. It could happen, but I'm so excited for this LCK playoff bracket. Oh, dude, this is the best time for them. Like, even if you don't watch the LCK throughout the regular season, because it can be a lot of games, especially for those of us in North America who are only watching the highlights in the morning, or if you're on the West Coast, you might be watching some games at midnight. The reality is, this is whenever we actually watch all of the matches, because there's only one series. It's not too much to watch within a given day. And it's just super fun because LCK playoffs over the last few years has just delivered every time. So I'm going to make the bold prediction, though, that Gen G is not making it to MSI this time around. I think it is going to be Hamo Life in T1. It just feels like Gen G is kind of a little bit off right now. I don't know what they need to do to retool or really progress going into playoffs. I haven't watched them closely enough to be able to make that determination, but I just get this feeling that somebody's going to be able to get their number, specifically T1 if the bracket plays out in my mind how it will. For once, though, I actually have something about general League of Legends to talk about in this. So it's not just like League esports headlines, it's actual League headlines around the world. Ranked fives are coming back. In case you somehow missed it, you haven't seen any of the shorts that I put out like berating this point, as well as just the general announcements and excitement for it. In case you don't know what rank fives are, because it very much is a boomer thing within League of Legends, it's basically flex queue if you could only go as 5-man squads. Now, it got removed from the game because not enough people were playing it. So what Riot's going to do in this situation is limit the queue times to weekends between certain hours. Now, originally, whenever they posted about it, the hours were going to be 10 p.m. Eastern time through, I think it was like 2 a.m., of which the whole conversation about League's player base right now is that we are getting older. Many of us have families, have lives, and beyond. We want to be able to play at a reasonable hour. And for most of us adults, that's just not going to work. Like, we're not staying up all that later. If we do, we're going out with friends because we want to value the in-person time. We're not at college where we can like one weekend. I don't think people understand how important of a time slot that is, whether it's at night or during the day. The reason why I bring up that time slot is because there's apparently conversations on Riot's end about changing the hours of which that's happening. If I was to give a suggestion, and you're going to do this in like a 5-hour window, make it 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to then it would be a 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's a good window because for West Coast folks, which again are only 25% of the population of the entire United States, the majority of us are from Chicago and the East Coast, or like the Chicago line. So Central Time and Eastern Time. For us, that's perfect. It's the best of both worlds. For the West Coast folks, it gives you still a good window to play. Yes, it starts at 5 o'clock, which is a little bit early, but if it's 5 hours long, 2 hours later gets you to 7 o'clock, which should in theory be prime time. So, I mean, that's fine. If you're staying up late, look, you were staying up late no matter what. I'm sorry, but like, I just think for the majority of the casual player base, which is going to have lives and beyond, that time frame is just better. And rank fives are absolutely incredible. Now, we all have individual ranks. Like, I'll go in and say I'll be like platinum, and I can play with a challenger player as long as we're all 5. It's not how it used to be where you had to have your specific team, and everybody within that specific team had to be on, and you had to micromanage it kind of like a club. That's not a thing anymore. It's all individual, which I am very happy about because as long as I can get 5 people on, I should be allowed to play the queue. Thank God. I just think 5-man groups are the best way to play League, and Clash has left a very clear kind of hole, in my opinion, in the space. Now, what I think you could do to like spice this up further, again, is just have Premier, which then sets like 1 match day a week during the season, and that's based on your rank 5's rank. Like, that is the point that you use rather than solo queue. I think that's an overall really nice step next, which I know is kind of annoying for me to be asking for the next thing after rank 5s, but Premier has kind of always been the goal. Like that set day a week, set time that you can come up, scout an opponent, have like a rec league that is directly built into the game. That's awesome. But rank 5s at minimum are a great beginning. Holy shit, that door. Sorry, lost my entire train of thought from a creaking door. But anyways, rank 5s. I'll just close it out with this and kind of skip to the end. This is one of my favorite things that has been added to League of Legends in a very long time. Now I can just message the boys at 9 o'clock on a Friday or Saturday night, assuming I'm not going out, being like, hey, we getting some games in? Let's get some games in. All right? It's just the most fun way to play. Everybody wants to, at least within my friend circles, play as 5. So the fact that we have a set time that we can kind of all plan around too makes it very easy. And not everybody has to be on. Like, as long as you got like a squad of 5, you're fine. I do feel bad for like the groups that, you know, say you have like 7 people on, 2 people have to figure out what the hell they're going to do. But you could always just find 3 other people. I'd imagine there's going to be a lot trying this. If I'm wrong, then, oh God, my read on the League of Legends community is way off. But it seems like people are very excited for this. And finally, we have to talk about the squad that is, in my opinion, the most exciting team to watch on a domestic level in the West right now. And that is the squad that has a bunch of NA rookies in Gryffinn and Cryogen, the younger player in Masu, the 17, well, I think he's 18 now, and Gakos in the top lane, with somehow older veteran Quad leading the way. FlyQuest feels like a reincarnation of evil geniuses back in 2022. I'm not saying that anybody on the squad is necessarily Danny in terms of like team fight prowess, but Gryffinn is probably one of the biggest faces in media that I think we've been blessed with in a long period of time. I can't remember the last time we had a guy that was this camera friendly. Like, I know everybody was hyped up on APA and his whole talk is split and the all chat thing. This goes so much further. I mean, him just willing to do interviews constantly, like actually energetic and clearly passionate about like thanking the fans overtly, having these hype moments of him just like building up confident. What's the way to say it? It's not just confidence. The hype speeches that he's having mid-series for his team that then get turned into memeable content and beyond. Like it's so good with this squad. I feel bad that some people are still holding grudges about that co-streaming video. Yeah, like that's still a thing. Anytime you bring up FlyQuest and this hype, there's always somebody in the background that's like, but they talk shit on Cadro and Dom. All right, you can support the players. Like this squad is fun to watch. And they are proof of what I've been trying to argue for orgs for a long time now. The EG proved in the first place, and now this just continues it. That like you need to invest in NA players and NA talent because that's what builds fandom. Like the hype difference going into this FlyQuest versus TL matchup this weekend, who, by the way, the winner goes to Arizona, so it's going to be a massive, massive series with a lot of nerves on the line. It's so big. Like FlyQuest has all the momentum in the world, not just in game, but just within social media and the fandom and beyond. And I'd be willing to bet, even as a Team Liquid fan, I'm biased. I want TL to go. I'm acknowledging that there's going to be way more people cheering for FlyQuest this upcoming weekend because it is the counters of each other going up on the Rift. FlyQuest, regardless of how people saw them from that video, are the good guys in this situation because they are investing in North American talent. Team Liquid are the bad guys in terms of importing the second they can. It is the two philosophies meeting each other on the Rift way earlier than we expected, and it will be a point proven for FlyQuest if they can take this series that just pokes every hole in TL's roster building philosophy that we've had for the last 4 years, 5 years at this point. Like, it's crazy. I wasn't sure if FlyQuest was the real deal after their 5-game series with C9. You know, sometimes with these younger squads, they get hot, but then they go down to the losers bracket and they cool off a little bit and things just don't go their way. No, they solidly put Sentinels in the bag. I mean, the bot lane diff was just absolutely crazy. But every player on this roster feels like it can step up and carry, which those are the tools that you need to be able to beat somebody like a Team Liquid as well. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that I wasn't nervous about this matchup because I think they've shown a lot more flexibility in draft. And I mean, I'll touch on this series a lot as we go on. But I just want to give FlyQuest their flowers. I really do. Like, I'm going to be talking about this matchup a lot this week for understandable reasons. But just reading the tides of community sentiment right now, I don't think there's any player on a brighter trajectory right now than Gryffinn. And I don't think there's any group of players that has everything waiting for them in the palm of their hands if they want to take it and capitalize on it than this FlyQuest squad. I know winning probably makes this a fully successful rebuild, but I'm willing to call it a success already. And we're not even done with spring. That's it for my headlines around League of Legends and LoL esports within the West and the LCK this week. If you haven't done so already, be sure to drop a subscribe on the channel down below. Drop a like on the video. We're on the road to 10,000 followers. We are under 1,000 away, and it's a mark that I'm hoping to hit. I don't know the exact time frame, but I just want to try and hit it this year at a minimum. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on the next video, and hopefully, well, actually, it probably won't be set up if the next series is a 3-0 next Sunday as well. I don't know. It's bare bones, but we take it for what it is. See you later.